Hello and welcome. Today I want to take iClone animations, send them to Character Creator, and then import them into Unreal Engine 5 to use on the UE4 and UE5 mannequin. We begin today's tutorial inside iClone 8. I have the MotionDummy and some animations already done. And these are the animations that I want to use inside Unreal Engine 5. I want to retarget them to the mannequin. There we go. And so basically there is plenty of tutorials on how to create these animations out there. I don't need to repeat those. But basically, say we have this animation and I've just created it, you would hit save and it'll ask you for the name, and we'll just say test animation, and it will ask you for the type, and I reckon motion plus or motion. It is entirely up to you. I will actually use motion just to show you. There we go. Animation, motion. Hit OK, and it will save this, and you can drag that onto your character at any time and animate it. But what we need to do, obviously, is export all these animations. Now, if we selected them all here, let's say we wanted these three, and we go to export, up here, file, export, FBX. It doesn't give us much to work with. We have to export the MotionDummy and etc, etc. And obviously we don't want to do that every time, and we want to batch export these animations. Now the way that I am going to do it is the way that I've learned to do it over the past couple of weeks, and that is to use Character Creator 4. So you are going to need Character Creator 4 to export these animations correctly. I'm assuming at this point you have them. You can export, as I said, individual animations here, but it will export the mesh with it every time, and obviously that is not ideal. So get yourself Character Creator 4 and do it that way. It's just a lot easier. But what I do want to do is export this MotionDummy now to Unreal Engine 5. So choose Unreal and make sure Embed Motion and A Pose is selected. And I'm going to leave the frames per second current frame, and that's it. I'm going to hit export, and I'm going to call this MotionDummy, like so, and hit save, and it will give you this warning. Just hit OK. Remember where you save that to, and we will be importing that into Unreal Engine 5 shortly. But what I want to now do is switch over to Character Creator 4 to export these animations. In order to do this, we simply go up to File, and in fact, before we do that, I have missed a little step here. If you right click on the animation and find File, and it will open up a file explorer look with all the files for these animations. We need that. Let's just move it out of the way for a moment and go to now export, go to File, Export, and FBX, and just click here on Clothe Character. This dialog pops up for export, and from here choose Unreal, and from here choose the mesh motion, just choose motion. In frame rate, I want you to change the default. There is a bug either in Character Creator or in Unreal Engine during import, so I suggest using 60 frames per second. And then hit custom, and from here we choose this folder icon, and my folder's already opened, but if yours isn't open to where your animation are, what you do is you take the file explorer where we found our animations and you copy the location of the folder and you would paste here, and then it opens the correct folder. Okay, select all your animations except for the test animation that I created and open, and now they are all in this list here. Next, uncheck first frame in bind pose, and then make sure that save one motion per file is selected. This will create an FBX file for each animation. And with that, I think we can hit export. And we'll get this warning. Click OK. Now in this folder, let me find another folder for this. New folder, and call this tut for now. And I'm going to write tut underscore, and this just gives it a prefix. Hit save, and now it will export all your animations into FBX format, ready to import into Unreal Engine 5. Okay, so once this is complete, let's move over to Unreal Engine 5. Okay, so I'm going to create a blank project. I'm using a film and video and live events template, and let's give this a name. Let's call this iClone 8 Retargeting. And I'm not going to bother with starter content or anything. I'm going to hit create. With the project open, I just want to point out that I have the Character Creator and iClone Auto Setup import options plugin. In my previous tutorial, I showed you how to install that. Also live link, but we don't need the live link plugin today. Right, it's time to import our character first. So I'm going to create a folder and call it characters. Before we proceed, we need to obtain the mannequins for Unreal Engine 5, and we do that by going to add feature or content pack, third person, hit add, and there we go. And let's close that now. And then in our content drawer, we have these folders, characters with the mannequins. There we go. So now we have our mannequins. And also in these folders, if you watched any of my previous tutorial, there is a rigs folder, and in there is an IKRig and an IKRetargeter. This is going to be very important in a while, but for now, in your characters folder, right click, and we're going to create a new folder, CC4, and create another folder and call this MotionDummy. This is going to be the folder where our character will be stored. MotionDummy, like so. And then import and find our MotionDummy FBX file that we exported. And you will get this dialog box. For the MotionDummy, you only need the standard shader, so that's what I'm choosing. You'll get this dialog. Leave this blank. What I found is if you do skeleton sharing, that means you're sharing a skeleton between all your CC4 characters, and you do that at import, it messes everything up. So allow it to create a skeleton for you. In advanced, make sure all these are checked. from update skeleton reference pose all the way down to import mesh LODs, and make sure the animation is unchecked, and that's it. Hit import. And there we go. We now have our MotionDummy inside Unreal Engine 5. Now, if you exported correctly, you should have a root bone, all the IK bones, and a pelvis, spine 1, 2, 3. This is very, very important because it's going to allow us to cheat with the IKRig, and I will show you that in a moment. But first, let's do a little bit of cleanup. It creates this folder here, and it's actually got textures in it. Just drag those to the textures folder, move here, and then we can actually delete that folder. I showed you this in the previous tutorial. Delete. Create a new folder, call this mesh, and drag your mesh and the physics asset into mesh. Move here and create another folder and call this rigs, and drag your skeleton into rigs. I'm going to save all in case we have any of those Unreal Engine 5 crashes, and I'm going to finally create a folder, new folder, and call this animations. Right. So the first thing we need to do is import those animations that we exported from IKRetargeter 4. So let's go into the animations folder and then right click, import again, characters CC MotionDummy animations, and go to the folder where your animations were saved from IKRetargeter. There's a bunch of these folders. They're not actually required. What we are looking for is the 3D object FBX files. So we select all the FBX files and hit open. This time we choose in skeleton MotionDummy skeleton. If for some reason you exported a mesh with every one of your animations, if you got the export process wrong, here, simply uncheck import mesh if that appears here. Okay, in this case, we're fine. It's just an animation. Animation length is fine. What I want you to do though is click advanced. Again, this is the bug with the 30 or 60 frames thing. By default, this is 0. This will create massive loading times for your imports. Okay. And also when you retarget, it will take hours if you've got a lot of animation. We don't want that, obviously. So what I want you to do is set this to 60. Okay? As simple as that. Set that to 60. And then click import all. And now hopefully, if everything's gone correct, this will all import relatively quickly. So I haven't imported them all, but most of them I have. And if we open one up, there we go. Our MotionDummy is animated. Okay. Now, obviously, if we want to take this animation and place it onto, for example, a mannequin that comes with UE5, maybe Quinn, there is a process that I follow that gets better results, and that is I will, instead of retargeting directly onto Quinn, I will first, because the skeletal structure is similar that leaves IKRetargeter and iClone, I will simply go to the mannequin UE4 folder and I will retarget onto the old UE4 mannequin instead. And then from the UE4 mannequin, I then retarget to the UE5 mannequin. So we're going to proceed with that. Now, if you know anything about Unreal Engine 5's new retargeting system, because you've watched my videos or you've done it yourself, then you know what comes next. And of course, what we need to do is create an IKRig and a retargeter. Now, for those of you that simply don't have time or whatever, I am going to provide a IKRig in the description, which you can purchase from Gumroad. For everybody else who wants to follow this part of the tutorial, it's very simple. It's a lot more simple than it was previously, simply because of how Character Creator exports. So what we can do is go to characters and go to mannequin UE4, go in meshes, and here is the skeleton. Open up the skeleton, hit compatible skeleton, the plus icon here, and choose MotionDummy. Hit save. Click, double click, or click this folder icon here to go to the MotionDummy skeleton. Click compatible skeleton, and this time we want SK mannequin skeleton here from the mannequin UE4 meshes folder. Hit save. We now have animations that should, in theory, share between these two meshes. In my experience, this is rarely the case. There are a multitude of problems. So we're going to need an IKRig. As I said, you can purchase it from Gumroad, or you can follow this simple procedure. And what we do is go into the mannequin UE4 folder in our characters folder, go to the rigs folder, and duplicate this IKRig, but name it IK Motion Dummy, like so, and drag that to your CC4 MotionDummy rigs folder and move here. Go to your rigs folder in MotionDummy, and here is the IKRig. Open it up. This is the default that we have here now. Now, because we've enabled compatible skeletons for our meshes, we can now come up here to preview scene and preview mesh and select our MotionDummy, like so. Hit save. Sorry, hit reset, then save. And that's it. We now have an IKRig. Now, I'm going to get hammered in the comments section for this because this is not the correct way to do it. And I'm sure the full body IK needs different settings for Character Creator characters. But this is a hack to get things done quickly for you so you can do retargeting. If you want to do it the correct way, obviously you would create chains of bones and a full body IK for your character. We don't need to do that, so let's hit save. And now let's move on to the retargeting itself. In our CC4 MotionDummy rigs folder, the same place as the IKRig, right click, animation, and choose IKRetargeter. And from here, choose our IK MotionDummy IKRig. And we're going to name this IKR underscore MotionDummy, like so. And we're going to open that up. And this is what we are presented with, our MotionDummy. Come over to Target IK Asset and find IK underscore UE4 mannequin. Hit reset pose, and what we will need to do is create new pose and call this MD for MotionDummy underscore UE4. It's just in case we have to change the pose. I don't think we're going to. Hit save. Right, next, just double check all these chains match up. There we go. Yep, that's all fine. And now we need to come to root and go to translation mode and set that to globally scaled. Scroll all the way down to the bottom of your change and find the IK bones and set these all to absolute, like so. Now be aware that inside Unreal Engine 5 at the moment there is a bug and it messes up retargeting of IK bones. The developers are aware, and hopefully there will be a fix in the future, in a future build of Unreal Engine 5. For now, I cannot help you. Okay, let's proceed. I'm going to save this now in case we have a crash. And in our asset browser, here are our animations. And let me just click on one. There we go. If we look here, we can see that the arm is going into the body. This is how the animation came in. Now you could adjust that here, but my suggestion is that you deal with this in iClone before it even gets to this stage. I simply rush through creating and retargeting animations for this tutorial. So yes, they're not perfect and I understand that, but hopefully you will be able to sort these issues out yourself. This is just giving you the basics of what needs to be done. As we can see, there are some discrepancies as well with where the arm is there. See, this arm is lower, etc. I don't think we're going to be able to solve those issues. Let me try it. Left arm. And let's do blend to source. Yeah, it may be possible by adjusting all these blend to source, source weights, etc. But for today's tutorial, I think we're going to proceed because, as I said, I think it's a much better idea to fix these problems in iClone before you even save the animations. Right, so we're ready to export now anyway, so we're going to select our animations. Here they all are. And then I'm going to hit export selected animations, and we want to find characters mannequin UE4 because that's what we're retargeting to. That's our target animation, and I've already created this folder here called dancers. So I went to animation, right clicked and created a new folder, and we've called it dancers. So let's hit OK, and hopefully this is going to work. I've done this tutorial a few times now and I've had a crash while doing this. I don't know why. I hope I have refined the process enough that we're not getting that now. Anyway, I'll be back once these have exported. That was very quick indeed. So yep, no problems this time following the process that's in this tutorial. They retargeted fine. There was no crashes or anything. Here is our retargeted animation. Perfect. Right, so then the question becomes, what about the UE5 mannequin? And that is very, very simple. Now we have it in UE4 format for the UE4 mannequin. We simply go to characters, mannequin UE4, rigs, and we want UE4 Mane UE5 Mane. Open that up. Double check root is set to globally scaled and the IK bones are set to absolute. Come over to the asset browser and you will notice that all our retargeted animations here have retargeted written after them. And so from here, all we need to do is just select all those retargeted animations. Like so. Then I'm going to export those animations. This time I'm going to go to characters, mannequins, animations, and I'm just going to create a new folder for this dancers as well, like so, and then it will export those animations. And there we have it. Now we have animations for our UE5 mannequin. And that's it. Now, obviously, I will leave it to your imagination at this point, but you can understand that if you followed any of my previous tutorials on the channel, that now you can retarget to a metahuman, you can retarget to other character creator characters, you can do whatever you want with the animation from iClone and Character Creator. If you would like to support the channel, you can go to the link in the description and buy me a coffee from buymeacoffee.com. Alternatively, you can click the thanks button underneath this video and help that way. More tutorials are on the way, but for now, could you please hit the like and subscribe button and comment below with any questions? I will see you in the next one.